All right, and we're back on Political Connections. You know, this Sunday and earlier this week, we went on a field trip alongside political producer and podcaster Gary Darling. I went to the Lake County Supervisor of Elections office along with him, and we got a tour of the warehouse to meet one-on-one with the Supervisor of Elections, Alan Hayes, about election preparations and election security. Mr. Hayes granted us exclusive access to the facility to bring you a better picture of what elections officials are working on right now to keep your vote secure.
And here's our voter registration area. And really the whole voting experience begins with the registration of the voters. And we process their applications. We send it to Tallahassee to verify their citizenship and their residency and things like that. They send it back to us, and then the voter receives a voter information card from us, tells them what precincts they're in, what congressional district and legislative district they're in, and most importantly, tells them where their polling site is for Election Day if they choose to vote on Election Day. The law requires them to go to that specific polling site in their precinct if they vote on Election Day. If they're voting early voting, they're welcome to go to any of our 12 early voting sites all around the county.
Where are we?
We are in the vote by mail department. All the returning ballots come in here. They remain in this room through the entire process until they're ready to go into the tabulation room, which is right next door.
I see lots of colors. Green,
yes.
Red.
The red ones are ballots stored there that have not yet completed the signature verification. The green ones are those whose signature verification has been completed. The yellow ones are those that are waiting to be determined for the voters to get back with us their cure for the signature discrepancy. We have a machine right here that is our signature verification machine. It compares the signature on the envelope with the signature on file in the voter's record. If it verifies it, that's fine. If it doesn't verify it, we get a list of those, and then we have our staff look at those to make the comparison to determine whether it should be or should not be accepted. If it's not accepted, then we have the voter be notified either by cell phone or email or with a letter, and let them know that there's a discrepancy and here's what they need to do to correct that discrepancy.
And then the process takes us where after this room?
Into the tabulation room right next door. We are now sitting before the ballot extraction machine. This opens the envelopes. It separates the front and back of the envelope, and then the operator removes the contents of that envelope and puts it up here in the appropriate bin. From this machine, the ballots then are flattened out using that press over there, and then the machine of tabulation is over here where the ballots are run through the tabulation machine.
Show us a little bit of this. So this just seems interesting, the red machine.
Well, the ballots, when they come back, when the ballots come back in the envelopes, of course they're folded up. And if we try to run them directly through the tabulation machine, they get all crinkled up. So we put them in here and come down here with very high pressure. This is a 20-ton press, which means it'll go to 40,000 pounds. It will flatten those ballots, and then they will run through the tabulation machine much more smoothly.
Gotcha. So it's all about making sure that they can run there as fast as possible.
Well, as accurately as possible. We care more about accuracy than we do about speed.
Security always top of mind.
Absolutely.
The tabulating machines, is that connected to the internet at all?
No, ma'am. Not at all. None of our tabulation machines are connected to the internet at any time.
So how do you get numbers from precincts, polling places back here?
Through a cell phone transmission. The whole transmission thing is a matter of seconds. It's not a matter of minutes at all. And at the end of the day of elections, the election worker presses one button that initiates the encryption of the data on the memory stick. That encrypted data then is sent to us via zero access fiber, and we then upload the information and tabulate it all.
You were giving us an example of almost like being in your kitchen, a stove.
Yes. As a matter of fact, your kitchen range typically through the day is sitting there plugged into the wall, but it's not cooking anything. You have to turn it on before it begins to cook something. Well, these transmission devices are the same way. It's sitting there idle all day long, and then when that button is pushed at the end of the day, it turns it on, the data is encrypted, and bingo, it comes to us and we're done. These machines, in their tabulation, if for some reason they can't make out what that voter's intent was on that ballot, it outsources it to one of these other positions here, and the workers look at that and take it into the canvassing board room for the canvassing board to determine what was that voter's intent, does this ballot need to be duplicated, or just what is the situation with it.
Mr. Hayes, what are those machines over there?
Those are our tabulation machines that go to each individual precinct or each early voting site.
This is where people place the ballot.
That is correct.
Okay, let's walk and talk and show me what they look like and how that vote is secured.
Well, here we have the electronic poll books that are being prepared for deployment to their individual voting sites, whether it be election day or early voting. And each of these machines is formatted to know specifically what precinct they're in and each position. Here's the clerk's position, we have inspector positions and all this. It's very, very detailed, and you can see these numbered and barcoded seals.
What do they all mean? We see a red and a couple of white ones.
Right, and each one of those means a certain thing that, candidly, for security purposes, we don't identify what each one of them means. We know what it means, and that's what counts.
Let me ask you this. As we look at all of these machines, and I see all of the security tabs, and you're explaining all of this stuff to us, I mean, this is very detailed stuff that has to go through a rigorous approval process. Why do you think that people are still somewhat, they have questions about security across the U.S., not picking at a particular spot, but just overall? Why do you think that is?
I wish I knew, but quite candidly, I pay no attention to those things. To me, all of that noise is a distraction. I am focused solely on the accurate administration of the next election, and that's all we concern ourselves with. We have tried multiple times to present some of these people the facts. They choose not to accept our explanation. I don't know what their problem is, but I know what the truth is. I know the integrity with which this election office is run, and I know that elections in Florida were a model for the nation, and we're quite proud of the administration of the elections that we do here in Lake County.
More political connections after a break right here on Spectrum News 13 this Sunday. Don't go anywhere.